zoom out. I've been saying this quite a lot with my clients lately, and then that is to zoom out. You are only ever in your own head. And so this is why I feel so blessed to share my knowledge and share my experiences. So without sharing what I share and without access to something like this, you wouldn't necessarily know what is available to you. You could just go through life thinking that it's normal to be irritated by people, or it's normal to have a million thoughts going in your mind all the time and actually never find peace and headspace. That's not normal. That is not normal and doesn't have to be this way. And so this episode is called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And I'm here to share whatever comes out, actually, because I've just got one word on my paper. And this episode is going to be very different to what I would have shared a year ago on this topic, because I've changed and evolved so much over the past year in my business, in what I'm doing, in my mindset too. Well, not really, actually. I've always been like this, but actually it's about how much I share and how open I am, because early days on this podcast, it came out that I was into manifestation, and that's such a game changer because it literally underpins everything. And I really don't know how I got to the point that I did. I don't know how many months I did without being open about that. I would talk about it with clients if I got the feeling that they would be open to it, but not all of them was. And therefore, it was a kind of thing that I lived and breathed, but didn't share. And now, I just can't imagine not basing everything that I teach around energy and alignment and manifestation, because it's not something that you do or you don't do. With manifestation, it's just constant. We are co-creating always with the universe. It's all about energy. The energy that you are putting out is what you're going to get back further down the line. And so everything's about alignment. And so this episode, the only word that I've written down on my notes is alignment. And that is how I'm going to explain why it's so important not to sweat the small stuff. Okay. Now, we can so easily lose perspective because we just get caught up in the everyday busyness of life, and our brain is primed to be negative. We have a caveman brain that only cares about our survival. So of course it's going to focus on the negative things and the problems and the things that aren't perfect. Life is never perfect. And if it was, then we wouldn't appreciate it anyway, because we have to have the downs to appreciate the ups. And we have to have light and shade and ebb and flow and night and day and all of these contrasts. That's what life is about. And so it's so easy to get caught up in the small things that don't matter. And so this episode is a reminder to not sweat the small stuff, to zoom out. I've been saying this quite a lot with my clients lately, and then that is to zoom out, particularly my business owner clients. Zoom out. Is this going to matter? Is that how you're feeling now a big deal actually when you zoom out? No. Okay. So don't sweat the small stuff is such a good motto to start to live by, because when you can get to grips with being able to just let things go in the moment, then that's when life becomes so much easier. And we talk about this a lot in my program, and it's part of what the learning curve is about. And it's about being fully in alignment with yourself and who you truly are. And part of that is to raise your frequency, to raise your vibration, so that you're in alignment with who you are and you're in alignment with good things coming your way, because you're in a good place mentally. And when you're in a good place mentally, then you're in a good place spiritually and emotionally, and you're more likely to want to do things that are good for your body too. So therefore you're more likely to be in a better place physically. And everything that I teach is interlinked, but alignment is key, because when you're in alignment, then your vibration is higher and you just don't sweat the small stuff. So just a few examples, just from this morning, let me just take this morning. So it's nursery day for my girls this morning. And one of my girls wanted to wear this lovely dress, brand new dress from one of the grandparents. And I was like, no, don't wear that, because you might come home with paint and it'll be ruined. And it's such a lovely dress. And then I checked myself. Actually, I didn't check myself. My husband checked me this morning. He was like, doesn't matter, Jen. I was like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You wear the dress because it feels good for you. And if it gets a bit of paint on, so what? You're probably going to grow out of it in 2 months anyway. It doesn't matter. Get joy out of wearing that dress today because that's what you want. And that's what's the best thing for everybody involved. And I can just let go of my qualms about getting paint on the dress. Who cares? Fast forward, girls have been dropped off and I'm running. And previously, like the old me will have pushed through. And I know myself, obviously, I know myself very well. I know when I can push through being tired and just be like, come on, Jen, you can do this, and run the whole thing and be proud of myself. But today felt different because I'm in tune with my needs at all times. I knew not to push myself this morning. And I remembered that I didn't really drink enough water before I left the house. I had a very small bowl of cereal and half of it was eaten by my girls. So actually I was hungry and thirsty down on the seafront and it was hot already. So I knew not to push myself. And so I walked a little bit and then ran a little bit and then walked a little bit and then ran a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to walk the rest. It doesn't feel good to push through and run and it's okay. But previously I would have felt like, oh, that doesn't count because I didn't run the whole thing. And I know my clients will resonate with this too, to have that kind of negative energy around the fact that I didn't run the whole run this morning. Whereas actually I can choose. You can always choose how you respond to things and you can always choose the story that plays in your mind. And this is such a powerful thing that you can learn and that my clients learn too. And that is the stories you tell yourself matter. And so today I chose to feel good about the fact that I stopped and walked. And Tom asked me, did you enjoy the run? I was like, no. But I enjoyed being out. I enjoyed the sunshine. I enjoyed seeing people. I enjoyed saying good morning to people. I enjoyed seeing the boats out on the sea. I enjoyed the animals that I saw, the kids lost in their own joy, the St. Michael's Hospice ducks. Like there's these duck models painted in different ways all the way along the seafront. There's so much that I enjoyed about that run. And yet it wasn't a particularly comfortable run, but that's okay. Like that's not what I'm going forward with. I'm not going forward with any negative energy about that run this morning. Like it was great. I still got feel good chemicals from it. It was still a good experience. And last night on my group call, one of my ladies said how she felt different for the first time ever. She felt different about not having got everything done. Previously, she would have felt very pressured. And if she didn't get everything done, she would have felt like on edge. She couldn't relax because she didn't get everything she wanted to get done. And I said to her, life is not one big to-do list. And actually, it's about enjoyment. And we can't choose when we leave this earth. And so chances are we're never, ever going to be ready to leave. And what matters is that you're having fun and feeling good. And so the stories you tell yourself matter. So don't sweat the small stuff. Just be. Let it be. And this is so important. I shared that last night as a confirmation of the things she said. She'd already got to that place already. And she said it felt so good to have the feeling calm, the headspace. And she also said she's had more time for herself this week since becoming a mum. She's got a young daughter. And it's all down to the headspace. Like time is an illusion. When our stress buckets are full, we're living from a very negative headspace. We're feeling overwhelmed. We're feeling like we haven't got much energy or we haven't got motivation or we're people pleasing. All of these things give us the illusion and the perception that we never have enough time, can never get anything done. You never ever catch up, that kind of feeling. And if you're listening to this and resonating, just know that it doesn't have to be that way. You can get yourself in a good place, a good headspace where you value yourself and you have time. And when you have that time, you really enjoy it. You're present. You're not thinking about all the things that need doing. You're just relaxed. And another great thing that somebody else on my call said last night was last week they decided to stop drinking. They just knew it wasn't in alignment. I'm teaching my ladies and my men to be in alignment with what feels good for them. And what that means is to be able to notice what stories they've told themselves up to this point that aren't their stories, that are either messages that they have been conditioned to feel from society or from parents or other adults growing up. And just being able to notice and strip back all the things that don't belong to them, all the things that aren't genuinely what they want, aren't genuinely in alignment. And one of my other members last week said, they realized that drinking alcohol was not in alignment. And so they just decided to stop. And their partner said, that's fine, you do you, but I'm not going to stop. A week later, amazingly, like no pressure was given from my client's perspective. She just did her own thing. And last night she's like, oh, it feels amazing. I've been 10 days alcohol free, feeling clearer headed, so much more happy, joyful, calm, all of the things. And another amazing thing is that the husband has started to follow suit too. He's seeing the benefits, and she said that their communication, their relationship deepened. So many good changes in a very short space of time. And it's down to my client knowing what is right for her, what is in alignment with her, and having the self-worth to put herself first, knowing that it might cause a few waves, and this happens when you put yourself first and sort out all of the issues that have been causing a problem for so long. Energy will need to shift in relationships, and it does, and it's good, and it always is a positive experience, because you're learning to put yourself first. And when you put yourself first, the energy and the actions that you take for yourself are communicated non-verbally to everybody around you. And so you get treated better. You just do, because basically you command more respect because you have more respect for yourself. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but it is important. And everything that I teach is so interlinked. The self-worth, being in alignment, the boundaries, taking aligned action, the perception shifts, all of it. So interlinked. It's hard for me to talk about one thing and not go off, because everything is interlinked, right? So yeah, back to not sweating the small stuff. When you can cut out the overthinking, when you can live from a place of genuinely being authentic with yourself and not worrying about what others think, then that helps you to not sweat the small stuff, because you could not sweat the small stuff for your own personal reasons and not for other people. I asked my business coach last week. This is very honest, by the way. Here we go. I'm starting and I'm going to carry on because I always trust my intuition to go with the flow. But I said to my business coach last week, I said, how do I communicate without sounding big-headed? How do I communicate how good my program is? How do I communicate how amazing the results are that my clients get in such a short space of time? And she's like, you're just doing everything right already. I was like, okay, good. Just need to carry on doing what I'm doing. I've got a lady coming on who's been in my program. She's called Jane, and she's coming on the podcast in a couple of weeks, actually. So that'll be really good to get a female perspective on the Change Your Life program, because I've got a couple of male episodes already recorded. And so this will be my first female one. So I'm looking forward to having her on. But yeah, it's just, I feel the most blessed person in the world because of the job that I'm doing and the way that I'm helping people. And also this podcast allows me to get the message out there far and wide. And we've just passed 4,000 downloads, which is incredible. It's growing so fast. And so thank you so much, every single one of you who has either shared my episode on your stories or shared it with a friend or multiple friends. I really, really appreciate that, because it's so needed. Like I said right at the top of this episode, you're only ever in your own head. And so if you don't listen to things like this podcast, then you have no idea what is available to you. And what is available to you is so, so incredible. And it's all about momentum. Life is about momentum, upwards momentum, ideally. When you get that upwards momentum and you learn how to continuously evolve your mindset, life just gets better and better and better, because it all comes down to energy. And the energy that you put out is what you get back, because the universe gives you a match, a reflection of what you're an energetic match for. So if you can live your life from a place of ease and flow, and if you can live your life in alignment with your values, whatever they are, they're unique to you. If you don't know what they are yet, then ask yourself, what are my values? What do I value? For me, it's freedom, joy, and family. And so when you can live in alignment with that, then life gets easier and easier, because you're putting out into the universe a different vibration. And so you get experiences back that match that vibration. Thank you so much for joining me for another week. Thank you for your lovely messages. The messages that I get from people throughout the week, they light me up, I just appreciate it so much, because it's such a joy to come on here and share share my messages with you, and to hear back that it's landing and that it's making a huge impact makes such a difference. So thank you. Thank you for that. Please let me know what your takeaways are from this episode, or what else you would like me to talk about on the episode. Share this on stories. If you're on Instagram and you know how to do that, share this episode. Let's get the message out there even further, or share it with a friend. And the other thing that I was going to say, because I've not said this for a while, you might not be aware of it, is my sleep hypnosis audio is available to you for free in the show notes. So you can just download that. It gets sent to your inbox. Check your spam if you don't see it in your inbox. And that is what you can listen to at night when you go to sleep. And it can help you fall asleep, get a nice deep sleep, and wake up feeling positive, refreshed, clear-headed, and just ready to start your day with a more positive energy than before. And so that is my gift to you for being in my world. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye. My mission with this podcast and why I started it was to serve. And so I really hope that everything I've shared with you today and in previous episodes is serving you and helping you to change your life. It requires consistent action. It requires effort. But if you're willing to put in the work, then you can absolutely change a great deal just by listening to me and implementing my advice. However, if you're listening and you would like to work with me, then obviously I work too. I do solution-focused hypnotherapy and much more, and my program is called Change Your Life, and it's a program that I'm really proud of. So if you're interested in this and would like some more information about how it works and whether it would be right for you, then do get in touch with me via the information in the show notes. Thanks again for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to share it with a friend or stick it up on stories on Instagram and tag me at Believe and Achieve with Jenna. See you next week.